Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in the Lord. I thank you, Archbishop Kaigama, for inviting me to say a few words at the beginning of this assembly. So, when the Archbishop invited me to say you something, I began to think which kind of message I can deliver. And thanks God, sometimes the Holy Spirit is also speaking to the Nuncio too. Not always, but sometimes. And I realized that during these last days, we are reading in the liturgy, in the Mass, the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. A powerful letter of St. Paul. And the first part of this letter is addressed to a community, to a diocese, like this one. So I would like to make my message with the words of St. Paul we have heard in the liturgy. First of all, St. Paul was aware that the church, the Corinthian community, was not very united. There were different parties. There were people saying, I belong to Paul, I belong to Peter, I belong to Apollos. Unfortunately, this happened also in our days. I belong to Pope Benedict, I belong to Pope John Paul II, I belong to Pope Francis, I belong to our Nuncio Filippazzi, I belong to Nuncio Casugia, I belong to Archbishop Kaigama, I belong to Cardinal Onekan, I belong to Bishop Umorem. And if you go to every level, you find this kind of divisions. So, in the motto of this assembly, there is a word, together, which is an invitation to be united. I came here in this pro-cathedral a few days ago to give the pallium to the Archbishop. And I mentioned that the pallium, the meaning of the pallium, one of the meanings of the pallium is a call to unity. Unity with the Pope, unity in the Church, unity among the bishops, unity at every level. So my first message is an invitation to be united, truly united. We are different, and thanks God, the life is not boring because we are different. But difference and division are two different things. May our differences never become divisions. This is the first message. The second message is from the first reading of today. St. Paul says, we are ministers of God and administrators of the divine mysteries. And an administrator has to be trustworthy. So the administrator is not the master. The administrator is not a slave who cannot decide anything. The administrator is somebody who has responsibility under somebody who stays over him. And we know over us is Jesus Christ. So, I invite you in your different responsibilities in the church to remember that we are administrators, not the masters. Our temptation is to become the masters. Master of the diocese, master of the parish, master of the community, master I don't know of what. We are administrators. We have to do our best. But we have to look at our master and be trustworthy. You know, it is a tragedy when an administrator, for instance, in a company, is not trustworthy. So also in our communities, in the Christian communities, it's important to be trustworthy. That means to be transparent, to be generous, to avoid selfishness, to avoid every cheat, and so on. So, I invite you in your specific role in the church to be trustworthy administrator. And I invite you to continue to reflect on these two words, trustworthy administrators. It's almost everything there. The Archdiocese of Abuja is not a normal diocese because it's the diocese of the federal capital of Nigeria. It's also the geographical center of Nigeria. I would say it's like a city on the mountain. The good and bad of Abuja is not only for Abuja, it's for all Nigeria. Because here, people come from everywhere, and people look here from everywhere. Please remember this responsibility to be the diocese of the capital of Nigeria. And give good example, good impulses, good image to the church and the society everywhere in this country. So I know it's an heavy responsibility, but with the help of God and with your unity and with your responsibility, you will reach that. And I wish that this assembly will help you to accomplish your vocation as diocese, but also your vocation as the Diocese of the Federal Capital of Nigeria. Thank you.
You are watching CTV.